I'll start with you first. So we've been through so much since you were first cast in this film. I was speaking with Yara Shahidi the other day about what it means to be, Wendy in Peter Pan and Wendy. And she was saying how, so much has happened in the way it was filmed, and then COVID, the pandemic, everything. She hasn't really been able to like sit in the meaning of what all of her casting means and what to actually be in this moment until right now. So I don't know, what has this journey been like for you from start to finish, from coming off of y'all's album to diving into this, I guess literally and figuratively. I didn't mean to say diving into it as a pun, but diving into all of this. How has this journey been like?
Yes, well, this journey has been such a beautiful experience for me, a transformative experience for me, honestly, because I auditioned for this film when I was 18 and I just turned 23 this year. So it's been 5 years of my life of just intense amazingness, and I've just had such gratitude to be a part of a project like this with such talented people like Jonah. And being a part of this film meant the world to me because not only do I get to take on a role that I've known and loved since I was a little girl, which is honestly healing to the inner child within me, but I get to reinvent this version of the Ariel that we all know and show these children, particularly these brown and Black children, that they deserve to be in these spaces and that they deserve to see themselves on screen. So honestly, it's just been a whirlwind of gratitude, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And Jonah, for you, in this version of Eric that we made in this film, there's so much curiosity. I think that drives so much of what he does in this movie. For you, what was it like adding different dimensions to the character that we may not have seen necessarily in the animated classic?
So fun. We had a 3-month rehearsal stage where we talked so much about the script and about the characters, and that was a big thing for David McGee, our writer, and Rob, our director, of really trying to evolve who he was and try to get to know him better. And you're right about the curiosities. I think that was a really surprising thing about the story that I loved, which is that Ariel teaches him so much and he teaches her too. They both have this shared fascination of the above world and the underworld.
Yeah.
That was something that was sort of there a little bit in the original, but I think was properly dug into on this. And I think it really enriched their relationship as well, because they were kindred spirits.
Yes, yes. And Halle, as far as the music in this film, how do you think the song selections both honor these original classic songs that everyone knows, but also add a modern twist to them as well?
Yes, so these songs mean so much to all of us. I mean, ever since we were children, it's such a nostalgic feeling to be able to recreate the songs that we've known and loved for so long. And I think there's something to be said about Jodie Benson, who is an icon, who is a legend, whose work can never be touched, ever. And I just am filled with such gratitude that she was so kind to me and kind of passed me the baton in this way. And I was grateful to Rob Marshall and everyone as well for allowing me to have creative freedom. I am a singer and I kind of go all over the place and like to riff and be me. And they just honestly let me be me when it came to the recording of these songs for the film. And that was the most freeing experience.
You brought so much of yourself
Thank
to it.
you.
Yeah, you really did.
Thanks. But that was like, really freeing for me. So the fact that now with these new songs, like Jonah has this amazing song called Wild Uncharted Waters, and Scuttle has a song, like it's really cool. But the fact that they were composed by Alan Menken still, and he was still very much in the process with him and Lin-Manuel, it feels like we're honoring this film in the right way by having the original composers create to it. So yeah,
Alan was an amazing for this whole process, not just because of the fact that he was working on it again, but it felt like having his blessing was really important for us. And on our first day of rehearsals, we had this big lunch of all the cast, a lot of the crew, and Alan stood up and he said, I didn't think I would be here 30 years on, but here I am, and I'm so happy it's happening. It's in safe hands. Howard Ashman would be happy. He's looking down on us, and it was this really moving moment. And I think at that point we thought, okay, we have the blessing of some of the original filmmakers, Jodie, like you mentioned. So yeah, that was a really nice platform for us.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how fans react to the music because I know for a while we only had like those few seconds of Halle, your rendition of Part of Your World, and like that's what everybody's posting on social media with all their TikTok, and then finally when we had more, the internet was like, yes, I can't wait to see more of this. So I feel like it's gonna be the same reaction when everyone hears all this great new music and just also see the film because it's just that good. But thank you both so much for your time. I can't wait for everyone to see this movie, and I hope you both enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you
so much. Nice to meet you.
David, I'll start with you first. What was it like striking a chord between, the seriousness of Sebastian, like he wants to be taken seriously by the king. He has this, version of himself that he thinks of himself as. But there's also the playful nature of the character as well. And I feel like this version of the film kind of, does a good balance between, both of these versions of Sebastian. So what was it like for you when you were diving into the character?
Oh, good. I'm glad you think the balance is right. I think that's exactly right, but I think the things that are funniest about Sebastian are how serious he takes himself. So kind of as we kept working on it, like the more I leaned into that, the funnier it seemed to be to me. So he, even when he plays, he's playing very seriously.
Yes. And Jacob, for you, of course, you're no stranger to animated films. Luca a few years back, My Father's Dragon just last year. How do you think preparing for this film was different from the previous animated films that you've been a part of?
Well, actually, the deal with it was still very, very different. For doing Luca and My Father's Dragon I was in a booth with a microphone, just pretty much by myself. But what was different about this is that we actually were all together, and they almost set it up like a stage pretty much. So we recorded our lines for the movie, and also so that they would have it for Halle when she was doing her scenes with us. And what was funny is that since I was so used to doing it the other way, I didn't know that we were actually recording. I thought it was just a rehearsal. But thankfully, because everyone was there and there obviously was still a lot of pressure, I decided, just to give it my 100, give it my all, just like how I'd do it on the day, just because, everyone was there. You weren't impressed. But thankfully, that's the way I think, and yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Awkwafina, for you, Scuttle in this version of the film, performs on Kiss the Girl. There's also a new song that you and Davide perform as well. So how was it like having this musical element for the character, kind of more so in this film than the animated classic?
I mean, it's so cool. I think Scuttlebutt was a surprise. I didn't know that we were, going in, I thought that maybe they just needed to know that I could do my part in Kiss the Girl, which is definitely supporting of this awesome Marvel. But yeah, when I heard that and then also knowing that Lynn was in the process of writing it and then getting it, I think it was truly an honor to perform a song that was written by someone that I admire so much, and it totally is in that style. So it was a really cool element of the character. I think in this one it definitely expands Scuttle a little bit. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yes. And for all of you, this is such a big, massive project. I mean, all eyes on Little Mermaid because it's such a classic, and people want to see, how it, translates to this new version. When taking on, roles like this and stepping into big shoes, do you ever think, are we gonna get it right? Are we gonna get it wrong? What do you think is the thoughts that you have when taking on roles like this that have already been inhabited before? But you think more about making your own, or do you think more about sticking to what fans know?
I think one thing you have control of, because sometimes you don't know, right? You don't know how something is ultimately going to be received, but you can know what the character is, who's behind it, who else is leading it. And if you can trust those components, I think that's enough to make you feel like you can trust it, but then also feel really good about it. And to know that I'm pride myself on those instincts, because I definitely felt that about this movie. Yeah.
I had a lot of faith in Rob. I mean, as soon as I went on set, I knew exactly what they were doing, and when I saw the screener, or not a screener, I kind of just saw it on my own with my family. I was like, yeah, they definitely nailed it. So no, it was really cool to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think Rob and the whole production did such a great job of letting us play, of like, you know, setting up the boundaries of the world, where it was just like, oh yeah, we get to come here and do the thing that we do. And yeah, so it was awesome. And it took, whether I can't remember, I'm sure I was stressed about it before, because I'm stressed about everything. That's the kind of person I am. But by the time we started working, it was just show
Easy.
up, have fun,
Yeah.
say things, sing songs.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you three so much. I enjoyed this chat, and I cannot wait for everyone to see this film.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a good day. Bye.